You filed your claim, then you waited. Now you have a C&P exam coming up and you don't know what to do. You have no idea what's about to happen. I've been to 2 of these. Here's exactly what they are and what they aren't, and what you need to do before you walk in the door. In talking with multiple vets per day, what I found out is most vets think this appointment is for treatment or just to prove the diagnosis. It's not. The examiner is not your doctor. They work for the VA. They're not there to help you. They're there to document. Their job really is to answer 2 very specific questions. Does this condition exist, and is it connected to military service? The exam typically lasts 15 to 25 minutes, sometimes less. The examiner should have reviewed your file beforehand. Now, a lot of these guys are busy, guys and gals. They're busy. So they may be reviewing your claim evidence package as they're sitting in front of you. But they all have, training to ask very structured questions based on the DBQ, the Disability Benefits Questionnaire. They will have that. They will ask you questions based on what's on that form. So that's a template. There's very limited room for you to tell your full story, right? They want to get the highlights and move on. A lot of vets feel rushed, right? Or even like the C&P examiner was hostile. They're not. They just got limited time to talk to you. The format doesn't allow for a lot of time to talk. So you should know that going in so it doesn't throw you off your game. Most C&P exams these days are done by third-party companies. So these third-party companies contract with providers. So these providers could be 2 years out of med school, trying to get their own practice going. So they're supplementing their schedule with these C&P examinations for the VA. They've had some training. Typically, the VA trains the contracting company trains the provider. You can see how that chain kind of could break down over time. So some of these guys may have paid, gals and guys, could have paid close attention to the training, read the manual, read their study guides, and been very well versed in how this is done. This ain't their first rodeo, right? They want to provide good human interaction, do their due diligence, and provide professional courtesy to you. Others might just see you as a paycheck. Almost none of them have military service. Sure, they may know other veterans. Their dad may have served in the service or something like that. But most of these are lifetime civilians. You cannot assume that they would know what your MOS means. You give them 11 Bravo, they don't know what that means. They don't know what a flight line sounds like. They've never been on a flight line. Most of them, outside of a textbook, won't really know what a combat deployment does to a person's sleep. You have to tell them. You have to spell it out, make it very clear and plain. Now, knowing that, the biggest mistake I see a lot of vets making is going in there and talking about their best day or today. The VA doesn't compensate you for today or your best day. So what you need to talk about is your worst day. If your worst day wouldn't have happened because you served in the military, that's the day you want to talk about. It's not lying. It's relaying what you're actually suffering from. Most human interaction starts off with, how's it going? How are you doing? Those sorts of kind of blasé questions, right? And then you respond, fine, I'm good, it's all good, that kind of thing. You're setting yourself up. Or the examiner may ask, how are your headaches doing? And you're like, pretty good with medication. Or, I just take the pills every day. So you're lowballing it. You don't talk about how you missed your son's ball game, or you didn't go out, you had to cancel dinner plans with your wife because you had a migraine that day, or because you got passed over for a promotion because you missed so much work due to your headaches, right? You don't talk about that stuff. You're shooting yourself in the foot. The military culture trains you to minimize this stuff. Rub some dirt on it, soldier on, that kind of thing. You're not a soldier anymore. You're a vulnerable human in front of another human that's there to evaluate you. You need to let them see the pain and suffering that you're in. That instinct that's been drilled into us from our military service will minimize your rating. And like I said, you're not lying when you're talking about your worst day. Your worst day happened because you served. So what you're doing is you're giving the VA an accurate description of what your life is like. So I'm giving you permission to be vulnerable. Talk to these providers about how your life is impacted because of what you went through while on active duty. So that examiner's there filling out the DBQ, the Disability Benefits Questionnaire. They're just checking boxes, making notes. And you could have one headache a month and really minimize your impact or communicate a minimized impact to your life. That's going to equate to you getting headaches at 0 or 10 or 30. But if you have frequent disabling attacks, that's a 50% rating. If that's true for you, you need to talk about frequent disabling attacks, missing work, missing social engagements, all of these things. Because here's the truth. The VA doesn't pay you because you have headaches. They pay you for social and economic impact those headaches have to your life. So you need to illustrate the social and economic impact those headaches have to your life. How do you do that? Missing social engagements, getting passed over for a promotion, having to take a lower paying job because it doesn't induce as many headaches. Those types of stories, if you have those, tell them to the provider. If you qualify on paper for a 70% PTSD rating when you're talking to your buddies, why wouldn't you tell that to the C&P examiner? In talking with other veterans, my symptoms aren't apparently normal. Here's how it impacts my life. And start ticking them off. So it's not, I have some bad days. It's, I've missed work 3 times in the last month. It's not, my sleep is bad. It's, I haven't slept more than 4 hours in the last 6 months. You get me? Okay, so here's something a lot of vets don't find out either. So the DBQ, the Disability Benefits Questionnaire that gets filled out during a C&P exam, you could have your own doctor fill that out. So that is what we do at VBE. So if you wanted to kind of have a shortcut, Veterans Benefits Evaluations, if you have something that needs a proper rating, a DBQ is a secret tool in your toolbox. So a DBQ that's filled out by a private provider that knows your history, that knows your medical evidence, they can basically prove your claim for you. When you submit that to the VA, you've done their work that a C&P exam is designed to do. So you move them from having to prove your claim for you to basically evaluating evidence. So you could see how being, you moving from defense to offense puts you in a better position, right? You've already proven your claim. Now you're putting the VA in the position of having to basically disprove it or just evaluate the evidence. But what really happens is these DBQs that you get on your own outside of a C&P exam, oftentimes a lot more accurate, paint a lot better picture of what you're actually going through. They're not compressed for time. They're not filled out by someone that's just looking for a paycheck, right? They don't know you. They're filled out by someone that has evaluated your history, has spoken with you, has taken the time to really document the DBQ. Does that make sense? Okay, so now you're out of the C&P exam. It doesn't actually end when you walk out of the doctor's office, the provider's office, okay? You got 2 things you need to do once you leave that office. 1, immediately write down everything. Date, time, temperature, right? Everything that was said, as much as you can remember, because you will forget. So you want to have that documented. So write down everything, including the provider's name and credentials. That gets missed a lot of times. And number 2, request a copy of the DBQ. You're entitled to it. Most vets don't know that. They think it's the VA's. It is the VA's, but it's on you, so you're entitled to a copy of it. Request a copy of your DBQ. Most vets don't know that you can push back on a bad C&P exam. Schedule a call with me. We can talk about it. It's also the topic of another video in the future, but we'll get to that. Now, if you want to make sure your evidence package is rock solid before you even think about a C&P exam, that's what I do every day. Check the link below, get scheduled up with me, and I'll see you there. Thanks for watching.